All right, we are back and talking all things Helldivers. And I think I just blew out one of my vocal cords using that bassy voice. Anyways, just take a look at this footage. We've come off of a mission. I'm covered in muck and oil, and for some damn reason, my armor goes into full discotheque flashing mode. I mean, I have no idea what happened here. Anyways, welcome to the channel. It's LtBuzzLitebeer, and the Democratic Detonation Warbond dropped yesterday, along with the unannounced ship upgrades. And I covered some of the weapons in yesterday's video, but today I've got a bit more testing and, of course, thoughts on it all. The new ship modules are causing some issues. We've got a new major order and new dispatches from Helldivers HQ and a whole lot more. Remember to hit subscribe and ring that notifications bell to receive my daily upload alerts. And let's get in and check out all the latest with Helldivers. Jumping straight into it, and by now I'm sure you've seen, or at least suspected, that we have failed that crazy automaton major order to tackle 5 planets, which, to be honest, I don't think we were ever meant to complete. But with that, we have now kicked off a new major order, so let's take a look at that. And of course, we are again tasked with spilling oil versus the bots. The automaton advance must be halted, establish, and hold the Menkent line to allow establishment of orbital defenses. And at the time of this recording, and pay attention to this, we have just under 4 days, so this includes the entire weekend to liberate just 2 planets, and it is for 55 medals. Just think on that for a minute, and I'm going to take you around the map and kind of spell out where I'm going with this. Drilling down into this situation, and we've got Menkent sitting at roughly 22% liberated, and this is basically the bot version of Hellmire, yay! And we've also got Lasath at about 3%, and we know that once we liberate these 2 planets, that we will immediately be flung into defense campaigns, or at least that's how it's worked in the past. Now, up in the Andromeda sector, we've got the large bulk of our Helldiver forces currently taking on liberation campaigns on Marfark and Martal, which I can understand wanting to finish those off, but it may all be a trap. Go figure, right? But knowing what we know about Game Master Joel, he loves to play with the pieces on the board and try to distract us, which he may be trying to do right now, because if we leave bot territory for just a moment and head over to the bugs, we have 24-hour defense campaigns currently running in both the Mirren sector on our favorite planet, Hellmire, and then there is a 24-hour defense campaign in the Draco sector on Crimsica as well. Now, here's something I'm not entirely sure of, but when we were back and doing those Terminid TCS missions, the objective behind that was to set up a defensive line so that the bugs couldn't again push towards Super Earth. Now, I don't see any further mention of it here in the dispatches, and I may be wrong on that TCS lore, by the way, but if the TCS is not there to stop them and we don't successfully defend Hellmire and Crimsica, they will again push towards Super Earth and even into neighboring sectors. Now, I was there and hit those TCS missions hard back when that was the major order, and I could also be way off with how I'm remembering the TCS, but if it is not in place to block the bugs, they will have access into several sectors unless we defend Hellmire and Crimsica. Damn, I wish I could remember that TCS and know for certain, but you know, for now, let's move along to the new dispatches. And before I forget, today's daily order for 15 medals is to kill 400 automatons, which should be pretty straightforward and can be completed in a couple of dives, so you can use those medals on the new Warbond. Okay, the first of these new dispatches has to do with yesterday's Super Destroyer fleet upgrade, and since I covered it all in yesterday's video, all of this text is just a repeat, but the gist of this is that we got level 4 upgrades on all ship modules in yesterday's update, and by the way, these are expensive, setting you back 150 common, 150 rare, and either 15 or 20 super samples, and I've got more in these upgrades in just a moment. Next up is the failure notice we all suspected was coming. Major order lost. Yeah, no kidding. The automatons have seized control of many innocent and once beautiful worlds. The valiant and tireless defense raised by the Helldivers was commendable, but it was not enough to stop such a large and cowardly assault. Any colonists not driven from their homes were likely slaughtered, their votes forever lost. Again, you love to see this level of immersion when it comes to the live service elements of the game. It's constantly evolving and changing underneath us, like shifting sands, and I don't like losing tasks like major orders, but even when we do, it's all kind of part of this master plan. All right, the final bit here is this new third dispatch. Lots of reading today, sorry about that. And this one is in response to the new major order. We must halt the automaton advance. Helldivers are ordered to establish and hold the Menkent line, kind of like I was discussing in yesterday's video, consisting of the planets Menkent and Lasath. Establishing this defensive line will allow Seaf engineers to begin construction of orbital defenses on those planets, deterring the advance of the automaton fleet and allowing counter-offensive preparations to begin. Here's that dispatch push to get us once again into Menkent and Lasath, but I'm thinking we need to first hit Hellmire and Crimsica and then swing back around to the major order. Just my thoughts on it all. I mean, we've got the weekend for these two planets and of course those metals. Let me know in the comments if I'm right in my thinking or am I way off. And now over to the, well, I don't know exactly how to call it, the not so good. And it's all about that unannounced ship module upgrade system. And in general, yesterday's major order. And I always lay down my honest thoughts here in these videos. And to me, and probably a lot of you, both of these items felt rushed and unfinished. And it showed. Now on paper, these level 4 upgrades sounded great. And I'm not rating how awesome they are with that statement. Just the fact that we finally got a new path to take and spend our rec credits and samples on. First item to discuss is this superior packing methodology. And, once players started spending those hard-earned samples to purchase it, they saw it wasn't working. Or if it was working inconsistently. And this is one of the better level 4 upgrades. Breaking news on this one, by the way. In the last hour or so, we've seen 2 dev responses come via the Helldiver Discord. The first of these came from Twinbeard, basically saying that they, the team, saw that the superior packing methodology upgrade wasn't working. They were working on a fix, but in the meantime, simply restarting the game seems to resolve it. Now, I'm assuming this is a restart after you've purchased the upgrade. Well, apparently, that didn't help, and players are still seeing issues with it, because just now, we got a follow-up from Baskinator saying, quote, "We are aware that the upgrade is still not working and we're currently investigating a fix for it. We will update you as soon as we have more information." By the way, not mentioned in any of these dev responses is anything to do with the enhanced combustion upgrade and how insanely OP you become if you were the session host and wielding anything to do with fire, like a flamethrower. Now, I've seen the clips making the rounds of players dropping chargers in the blink of an eye with a flamethrower and using this new level 4 upgrade. And I've also seen your comments about how when you try to flame down a charger, it never goes down that fast. And that's because of the host-non-host damage over time effects. And of course, last week's 50% fire boost along with yesterday's further 25% boost while using certain fire stratagems. Now, much like the superior packing methodology, these things are quickly becoming an issue, and it all feels a bit disheveled, if you know what I mean. On one hand, we all love how quickly this game changes, how they stealthily add in new enemies and add in new weapons and all that, but these fast iteration cycles are catching up with Arrowhead, and the more they add into the game, the more it is slowly breaking apart at the seams. Maybe it's time to take just a few weeks off from new content and to just buckle down and knock out as many of these known issues as they can before adding even more onto what we've already got. Know what I mean? And finally, after all that, we need to circle back around to the Democratic Detonation Warbond and this funny post on Reddit about the Adjudicator rifle. And yeah, I wasn't too keen on this one as well, and said as much in yesterday's Warbond weapon breakdown, but not only is this balloon weapon funny, but check out the weapon traits. 50% chance enemies laugh at you. I mean, You ladies and gents on Reddit are so damn creative. But this is really how I think many of us felt about the Adjudicator. Which brings me to the CB-9 Exploding Crossbow. And the name alone brings out thoughts like, why would you ever want to use an exploding crossbow, Buzz? And I get it, but it is the bolts that are exploding, not the weapon itself. Jokes aside, I equipped this thing for a level 7 bot mission earlier this morning, and it's not all bad with the CB-9. In fact, if given the option, I'd probably roll with this over the Adjudicator. It has big base damage ratings, and if you can land your shots anywhere kind of close to your target, it'll lay down some serious hurt on the enemies. Reloads are, of course, slow, but that's to be expected, and you need to account for bolt drop, which is severe. But it's going to one-shot things like a Strider, and it makes short work of chaff. Now, I tested it versus a Rocket Devastator as well, and it took 5 direct hits to finally drop one of those, so it does have limits. Also, like any explosive weapon, if you hit, say, a rock or maybe an enemy at really close range, expect to take some serious splash damage. It also struggles versus fast-moving mobs that rush your position, so make sure to pack a fast-firing secondary to compensate. You know, this thing is weird. It's wonky to use, and I wouldn't pick the CB-9 over, say, the Breaker or a Sickle, but it's a challenge, and when used correctly, it can be effective. Just don't equip it and expect it to be best in class. Oh wow, look at this. I thought I was done with today's video, but we've got yet another transmission on the Helldivers Discord, this time concerning one of the new Warbond armor sets. The CE-27 Groundbreaker went live with the wrong passive talent of Servo Assisted, and it should have been the Engineering Kit passive for more explosives. It's going to be changed in a future hotfix, and keep that passive talent switch in mind in case you purchased it specifically for Servo Assisted. Alright, I think we've covered plenty for today. Again, Arrowhead. We enjoy this game. In fact, we enjoy the hell out of this game, but the cracks are beginning to show. Take your time, get it right, kind of test it all out, and let's get back to spreading managed democracy. Remember to hit subscribe and ring that notifications bell to receive my daily upload alerts. All my socials can be found in the video description, including an open invite link to my official Helldivers Discord community. Now, if you're struggling to take on 7s, 8s, or 9s because you want to get those super samples, running with an experienced squad makes all the difference, and we've got LFG areas so you can call for help, and of course, free voice channels to activate those mics and plan your attacks. Shout out to the nearly 218,000 of you legends out there that have already hit subscribe. I appreciate each and every one of you. Until the next one, this is LtBuzzLitebeer, signing off.